All right, what's up, y'all? All right, so I have just, I got these hiccups. Just realized that I have not recorded event 4. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do event 4, and then cover the last 2 events in the morning. Event 9. Let me say this right. Cover the last event in the morning for both the men and women's event 9. All right. So let's see what happened in event 4. I don't know what happened in event 4, and I don't want to see the winners. Like I already, how I did at Tia and Jeff Adler's gonna win, but I don't fully know what the top 3 is. So it does help. Excuse me for my hiccups, guys. I'm curious on who's going to take this. This is an event for men's heat or men. I don't know. Anyway, event 4 for men. So let's just say it like that.
Day 2 of competition at the 2024 Rogue Invitational continues from P&J Live in Aberdeen, Scotland. And it's time to go hunt haggis.
When I try
number 4 is presented by Crocs. Glad you're with us, everybody, wherever you are tuning in from around the world. I'm Sean Woodland, former Affiliate Cup champion Adrian Conway. And we got Kiki Dixon covering things down on the competition floor. Been a pretty exciting battle so far on the men's side, man. It is close.
Oh, it's close. But I'll tell you what, Jeff Adler came to play with a 2-5-1 finish, man. He made a big statement on day 1.
It's jammed behind him as Jeff Adler has opened up a 50-point lead on Ricky Garrard for first place, courtesy of that event win last night. Ricky Garrard sits in second place, but not by much. I mean, there's 8 guys within 40 points of him. So not a lot has been decided through 3 events. The only man who's really separated himself is Jeff Adler, and he has a chance to pick up some big points here in event number 4, which again is hunting haggis, presented by Crocs. And it's like Jackie's evil monster cousin.
Yes, yeah, monster cousin is right. It's quite evil. 1K row, 30 thrusters at 135 pounds for the men, 30 log muscle ups, 30 thrusters, then a 1K row to finish.
One man we'll be watching here in this first of 2 heats, Justin Medeiros, who comes in 12th place overall, but has momentum. He finished 2nd in Braveheart last night.
Yeah, and he's got some good momentum. Justin Medeiros, again, one of our most well-rounded competitors. We know that he's a 2-time Rogue Invitational champ. The 2 times he's been here, he's been able to take the victory, and I really like how well-rounded this particular event is, and it reflects a lot of his skill sets.
There's Justin, who's getting some equipment set. For the lane assignments, Justin Medeiros will be working out of lane number 5 in the middle of the floor, trying to work his way inside the top 10. And as I mentioned, he's got a little bit of momentum. He finished 2nd place last night in Braveheart. Well, another guy to pay attention to in this event, Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson. He'll be in lane number 16.
All right, so right now I'm just going to enjoy it, guys. I'm not going to say too much because I'm going to tell you what happened. I accidentally missed the men's event 4 and saw all the other events past it, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I already know like how things are turning out. I don't know who's going to win this one. I'm going to be real with you, but I know how things are turning out. Like, I'm seeing faces that are no longer in Heat 1 that are now in Heat 2. So I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm going to try to say as little as I can and just enjoy it. So we'll see what's
BKG.
up. I think Medeiros is going to do well in this event.
Space, an active competing
thrusters, long muscle ups.
One of those athletes, Sean, who is a bit of a silent assassin. Just kills the competitors with consistency, as he's done throughout his entire career. Perennial CrossFit Games athlete, perennial Rogue Invitational athlete.
James probably going to get off first, though.
But really high level of fitness, and there's not any one thing that stands out in this event that will give him trouble, as we know so much of it is going to evolve around your ability on the back half to have that grit and tenacity. So it's all about really how he can navigate the log muscle ups.
This is the 5th time he's been at the Rogue Invitational. His best finish was in that virtual event in 2020 when he finished 2nd to Pat Vellner. 1,000 meter on the row here, and they'll get a rep credited to them for every 50 meters.
Now, when you think about moving a stationary erg like the rower is, men typically are taller, heavier. This allows them, because they're going the same distance, to row probably around a 10 to 12 second split per 500 meter faster than what we saw the women. So there we go. We got Medeiros rowing a 150, between a 150 and a 147. So these guys are going to get off somewhere just after that 3:30 mark and be ready to attack those thrusters relatively fresh. But again, they're going to be pacing this early and sending it late. So that latter row is going to look and feel very, very different than the one coming out the gate here.
George's Caravis is towards the front. There's Sam Quant, 15th place overall with 110 points.
Another man who lets his fitness do the talking. Not a man of many words, Mr. Quant, but he does let his fitness do the talking for him.
Sam Quant made his CrossFit Games debut in 2016 when he took 16th.
And just so you guys
the
know,
youngest guy competing that year, 20 years old.
it's going by multiples of 50. So every time a point gets added, it means that they just went 50 meters.
Deadlifts,
1,000
cleans
meters
and shoulder
total.
overhead, demolishing the field.
And a couple years prior to that,
So right
he
now they're at
skipped his high school
700.
graduation to go compete at regionals.
No big deal. Don't need to walk at graduation.
750.
All judges' hands in the air as their respective athletes are inside the 250-meter mark.
We saw this with the women. It doesn't matter how the order that you get off the rower, right? Because this is non-decisive. This is just accumulating some fatigue. This is like the curveball on the event where you're like, hey, we're just going to get them just a little tired, throw off their focus just a little bit for these next two movements that wait. So they're all pacing again accordingly, trying not to panic or worry too much as the other hands go up or other men start to remove themselves from the rower, and stick to their own game plan.
You saw Heinrich Happelainen in that last shot we were showing you, clearly staring at Bjorgman's monitor. See where BKG was. Sam Quant is off. Georges Caravis is off.
Right.
And Saxon Panchik was one of the first men at the top of your screen to get to the barbell. 30 thrusters now at 135 pounds.
Like I say, I see Medeiros doing well on this one.
About 61 kilos on the barbell. So at the 50 rep mark, that's when they head back to the log that you can see behind them and perform 30 muscle ups.
Again, we're seeing every barbell's hitting the ground. We knew they would drop and take some rest. 30 reps is a bit too many for these athletes to go unbroken, knowing especially they got to get to the log coming up next.
And Justin Medeiros is starting to push his way towards the front along with Jonakoski. Jorgen Carl Gudmundsson just now getting to work on his second set of 10. Medeiros is already through 20 of those 30 reps. He's in the middle of your screen in the blue shorts, no shirt.
Yeah, Justin does a great job, Sean, at moving well. He makes sure that his heels stay down as much as he can, his hip crease is below the top of his knee, and look at his cycle rate. He flashes those elbows straight, but he only really pauses at the top if he needs to show his judge a little bit extra time there to make sure that he's getting clean reps.
His third appearance at the Rogue Invitational. He's won the prior two times he's been here.
That will be the separator for this event, and of course the event before.
He's got 4 reps left before he'll head to that log for the bar muscle ups.
Crouch all within 1 rep of one another.
And now Medeiros is through, and he will be the first man to head back to the rig. He's in 12th place overall as Justin Medeiros with 150 points.
Boom.
He's only 70 points out of a spot inside the top 5.
For a log
He's got
muscle
plenty of
ups,
time to make
I
up
see
that
Sam
deficit, as
Patchett
Jonakoski is to work on his muscle ups as well.
Doing well on this. Tell me you're going to be all right.
Jonah and Justin both have opted for maximum pads.
But just like
under
I said
their
for women's
log, and
quick
this is gonna
singles,
minimize the amount of jumping that they have to do. They know they're going to do many sets. They're not going big and doing several linked together reps. So that allows them to just stand tall, put their hands on top of the log, and then to also do the muscle up right away. So there's no jumping needed. You don't need to jar your body or accelerate your heart rate. The movement's already hard enough for itself. So wise choices by those guys, setting themselves up for success.
Two of the top three on your screen right now. Medeiros on the left, Yonakoski on the right. Jake Crouch currently sits in third place. And Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson was knocking out multiple reps at a time. He's starting to creep up.
Yeah, if athletes know that they have strong enough grip to keep their hands on top of that log, that's what's going to open the window for them to be able to link together multiple reps.
There is Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson.
Ah, yeah, so notice how he lowers himself to the log, Sean, before he goes down. He lowers his chest, then he extends his arms to drop under. That's what's allowing him to keep those hands on top. It's a really wise choice by BKG. Again, another vet move by him.
Justin Medeiros continues to lead. 16-minute time cap. We're past the 7-minute mark.
There we go. Black shirt, middle of your screen. BKG still racking together multiple reps at once. This is going to create a huge advantage for him on these athletes that got to the log just a touch earlier but are opting for singles.
see, but let me say this: it's not about
Justin Medeiros now through
the cycling, though. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's cool that you can cycle and stuff like that.
15 of
The
those
thing
30s,
is
he's
that
halfway.
once
The
you're
80
done
rep
with the
mark,
long
that's when he's
muscle
gonna
ups,
head
you have
back
to
the
go
barbell.
back to the thrusters. And it's regathering yourself before you start the thrusters. You know what I mean?
Crouch is on the
That's
right
what it's
side, the
about.
light blue shirt.
Because you
Currently
start
sits in third
cycling
place,
for
fighting
long
Bjorn Carl
muscle ups.
Gudmundsson
I mean,
for second.
muscle ups itself
Behind Medeiros,
is taxing.
Olsen
Now you got long muscle
has
ups.
also made up some ground.
Yeah, Sean, what you have to notice
Alright,
about
so the
Justin
goal
right
right
here in the
here
middle is if you notice he's
is to
almost
regather
twisting
yourself.
and twerking his body a little bit to get over
Recover,
that rig at this
catch
point.
your air,
A lot of fatigue's
catch your
building.
air,
Even Jake Crouch has
knock
a little
out
bit of
your
the same
long
thing.
muscle ups,
It's called a
and
chicken
then
wing. And what that means is that there's something happening
hurry back home
as you swing
by going
over
through
that
your
log
thrusters and
that's
rollers.
forcing you to go left arm, then right arm, instead of both arms at the same time. And that's, of course, what can happen here. Unlike a bar, their hands aren't wrapped around this thing. They're not secure enough to be able to get away with that for 30 reps.
That's the first time we've seen Medeiros fail a rep here. Now Bjorn Gudmundsson and Jake Crouch have tied him for the lead.
I said I'm not even worried.
9 reps remain before it's back to the barbell.
Yeah, optimally what they'd be able to do, Justin wants to keep both hands equally positioned on the log.
Truth be
A lot
told,
of times
Justin
it looks like his
Medeiros
momentum is forcing
is a
him to one
well-balanced
side.
athlete.
He wants to sit up both
I
arms at
just
the
don't
same
know
time.
what's been going on with his engine. Like, as far as skill, he's well-balanced, but his engine, for
Sprague
some
fails a
reason,
rep off to the right of our screen there.
hasn't been doing as well as it's done in the past that got him to
Jake
do,
Crouch and
win
Bjorn
the
Gudmundsson
win the CrossFit Games.
have now passed
What, 2
Medeiros
times
in
in
the
a
lead.
row? I
About a
don't know.
rep
It's
ahead of
interesting. It's very
This is,
interesting.
of course, the little difference.
That's
in,
all
in the
good.
event for the
He's
men
gonna
and
do
for the
well in
women.
this
The
one.
women did 20 reps here. So it makes a very different challenge. And we see many of the men opting for singles just like the women did. BKG really being the only one to string together several reps, and that was early. Now it looks like he slowed his pace just a touch.
Gudmundsson's got 3 left. Crouch has 2.
Wow, moving through those so smoothly.
And Gudmundsson goes unbroken on those final 3. He's going to be the first man back to the barbell just ahead of Jake Crouch.
And this is where I think Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson is going to be very hard to beat in this type of situation here. He's got a lot of that grit, a lot of that tenacity, what we talk about building here in the final stretch of this workout through these 30 thrusters in 1K row.
Yonakoski was the 3rd man to start his final set of thrusters, and now here comes Justin Medeiros. And look at the pace that Medeiros is putting on here on that 135-pound barbell. Looking to regain that lead pretty quickly,
Wow.
and he's got himself right back in the
Yeah,
fight.
that was a big set to open with. You talk about pause, don't stop. That was not a stop, Sean. He just took a brief moment, dropped the bar. He's right back to work.
The 110 rep mark is when they'll move back to the rower. All these men have 20 reps remaining.
Notice the space that BKG separates from his bar. He steps back. That's the kind of body language you want to minimize. You want to stay on top of that bar. Try to keep your body on top of it. Even if you got to bend over and put your hands on your knees, it's going to get you back to work. It keeps you urgent. Yeah, stay right there. Stay close to the bar.
Why does he sound like a...
Crouch and Koski
Oh my
are your
God, what's that
leaders
USC
now,
fire name?
with 14 reps remaining on this set of 30.
It's at the top of my tongue too.
Crouch is into his final 10. He's on the right side of your screen.
I remember it, but right now I can't.
And this is exactly
One
what
of the top UFC fighters, the one that got in the boxing match with Floyd Mayweather.
Of a meter-for-meter race on the back half of any chipper with a 1K row, and that's what's looming for about 3 or 4 of these guys.
Crouch has 4 left. Medeiros and Koski fighting for second behind him. And if you were with us earlier watching the Iron Game, Josh Bridges said he'd love to see 4 guys or 5 guys get to the rower at the same time, and he might get his wish right here.
He's about to get his wish right here.
And there goes Crouch. Koski will be the next man done. He's at the top of your screen in the white hat. Now he's heading to the rower. So Crouch gets about 5 good pulls in before Koski starts, and now here comes Justin Medeiros. Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson, who was one of the first men to the barbell along with Jay Crouch, has fallen off the lead pace here. 1,000 meters to close us out. And Gudmundsson is going to make his way to the rower.
Yeah, great job getting it done. Took some longer rest periods in the middle than he probably wanted to, but that's what happens as fatigue accumulates. Yona Koski, right on that rower, silently just been creeping on the leaders there on the top of your screen with the backwards hat on.
I'll get a rep for every 50 meters, so 20 reps here on this rower. 130, that's what they're looking to hit. On the scoreboard on the left side of your screen.
And what you can expect here is these guys initially sit down, and you'll see it even in Yona's body language, is like he's trying to find a rhythm early. They just got done with all these different movements that were not the row, and now their body needs about 1.5 to 2 minutes to settle into the rhythm of their rowing stroke and also settle their heart rate a bit. Then we're going to see the intensity continue to creep up for them.
Now Noah Olson is onto the rower. There's Justin Medeiros pulling about a 156 pace. Oh, look at Jay Crouch at 144.
Yeah, pulling with great power. Jay's doing a great job there, leaning forward with his chest, putting his chest right on his thighs.
Jay Crouch is staying ahead of Yona Koski. Sorry, Adrian.
No, you're good. I'm just gonna say it's a hard thing to do to gauge someone's speed by only watching their body. People can look like they're pulling effortlessly and be rowing a 135. So it's one of those things that can be very misleading until we get good shots of their monitor. But Jay's just pulling with simply more power.
There's Yona Koski at about a 153.
As well. He's got about 500 meters to go.
The first of 2 heats here.
2 minutes remaining.
Inside 2 minutes left to go before we hit the 16-minute time gap. Jay Crouch is getting closer to that 130 rep mark. 1 rep for every 50 meters.
And this is another consideration. We've mentioned it. We'll mention it several more times. But Jay's not just racing the guys to his left and to his right. There's a whole nother heat that has now had an opportunity to strategize, watch how these men executed the log muscle-ups. So that has to remain on their mind, both Jay and Justin. It's not just they're going head-to-head against each other. There's going to be a lot of spots and points for our opportunity for points.
There's Justin Medeiros.
So Crouch is clear that he's going to win unless he slows down at the very end, but it seemed like
80-meter lead on Yona Koski last time we checked in.
it's Medeiros and
he's also coming off his best finish. He took 4th last night.
Braveheart. I don't know how to say his name.
Yona Koski. Koski also had his best finish of the competition in Braveheart. He took 10.
James. The CrossFit win in 2024.
150
Here
meters
we
to
are.
go. Now inside 100. And 40 seconds to go before we hit the time cap.
Wow, there's going to be a lot more guys get capped than I expected coming into this.
Now Crouch has been able to maintain that 80-meter lead. Final couple pulls for the man from Australia. Jay Crouch is going to take heat number 1.
Damn. Medeiros is like really close. Let's see what happens.
15:34.71 seconds for Crouch. Now Justin Medeiros has got to hurry to get himself across the finish line, but right now, he and Yona Koski fighting for second. Medeiros may have just overtaken Koski. He did not. Koski over the finish. 5 seconds to spare. 15:54.27 seconds. Medeiros sliding in. I don't know if he made it.
Damn.
That is heat number 1 of the elite men, and congratulations to your
Doesn't look like Medeiros was able to get across the finish line, but how about the effort from Jay Crouch, 15:34.71 to take heat 1.
Great execution there by Jay.
Oh, let's see it.
And this was the telling.
4.2.
Damn. Oh man, I know that hurts. All right. Oh my god, I'm getting so tired. All right, we just gotta make it through this next one. We good. All right. I think Adler's gonna do good. I think Adler's gonna do good. Vellner, it's gonna come down to the thrusters, and I think Adler's gonna do good. Vellner, Smith, maybe Fichtowski, Gerard. We'll see.
It's for the second and final heat. Adler, your overall leader in lane number 6. Ricky Garrard, he currently sits in second place. He's 50 points back of Adler, though. He'll be in lane 5. And keep an eye on Dallin Pepper in lane number 7.
Dallin executes an event just like this very, very well.
All right, I'll be on the
Dallin
lookout.
Pepper, 3rd place overall. Just throwing this out there, of course, he and Jason Hopper are tied at points at 220.
They got to be going back and forth with King of the Echo bike. They got to do the same thing in overall points, I suppose.
Only 2 men in heat 1. Finish this event inside the 16-minute time cap. Jay Crouch and Yonakoski.
This being our 4th heat of this particular event, I don't expect to see much change here on the initial row. A lot of gaming going on, meaning that men will be looking left or right, but ultimately they've got a preset pace, or they've discussed, hey, what most averages are going to be. But we can see right here already, this is a pretty significant starting pace compared to what some of our earlier heats were. I mean, the men were rowing approximately a 150 on average in that first heat. So Jeff will get off a little bit earlier if he sustains this, but he might slow it intentionally too on the back half.
It's pretty much dead even between all 10 competitors here. There's Ricky Garrard, who started off the competition with a come-from-behind win in event number 1, edging out Adler by 0.2 of a second at the finish in that quicksand event. Let's talk keys to this event. A lot going on here. How do you be successful?
You're right. There is a lot going on, and what we're witnessing right here is you want to pace early and send late. There's going to be 2 very significantly different row paces and strategies that we practice, so they got to conserve here. And then it's pause, don't stop, and a lot of that is in reference to the thruster and the log muscle up. You want to take rest before rest takes you, meaning that you need to do it intentionally and not be forced to stop because you're so tired.
See Dallin Pepper checking out Chandler Smith's rower, seeing what pace he's rowing. All these guys staying pretty even here. They're going to get a rep for every 50 meters, so 20 total reps before they get to move on to the thrusters.
Yeah, and we mentioned Dallin coming into this being his skill set, his movement quality. We saw what he could do when there's pressure on line yesterday in event 2, and now we're going to get a chance to see him showcase his ability to thruster that 135 pounds. I'm really interested to see how he navigates the log muscle ups.
Dallin Pepper currently in 3rd place overall with 220 points, but tied in points with his frenemy Jason Hopper.
Frenemy.
For more on Hopper, let's send it down to Kiki Dixon.
Thanks, Sean. Yeah, I was able to catch up with Jason on his way in today. And like you said, given that he's just outside the top 3, I asked him what his plan was for this particular event. He mentioned that historically, based on his past Rogue Invitational appearances, he hasn't done so hot with the log muscle-ups. He is a bit concerned that they'll trip him up, but his plan is to just stay in his lane and not get caught up in what's going around him, going on around him. He wants to get through them and then charge it. His final thoughts were that, he's looking to survive event 4 and then thrive in events 5 and 6. And I think that's something that we can all relate to, right? I mean, some days we're just trying to survive so we can make it into the days where we thrive. But I got to say, Sean and Adrian, you two are thriving up in that commentator's booth. I hear you.
Well, thank you, because I feel like I'm just trying to survive up here.
Brother, you got some long days,
I'm
man.
trying to survive.
I'm not complaining. It's been a blast.
We talk about CrossFit being generalist, man. When you get to cover the multitude of sports that you get to do, you're doing it just like that, man. Very well rounded.
It's been a lot of fun. Jason Hopper, king consistency when it comes to the Rogue Invitational. The past 3 times he's been here, he finished 7th every single time. As now Jeff Adler is going to be one of the first men done with his 1,000-meter row. Ricky Garrard is there, and Dallin Pepper. And Jason Hopper's done too.
Yeah, and I think we can expect more of this right here between Garrard, Adler, Pepper, Hopper, rep for rep. Over about the next 4 minutes, we're going to get a real good idea of how we're going to make our way back to this thruster bar after these 30 and then those 30 log muscle ups.
The 50 rep mark is when they'll head to that log that's 4 inches in diameter and knock out those 30 muscle ups. There's Jason Hopper, who's towards the front, along with Ricky Garrard and Brent Fikowski.
Ricky does a great job at staying really tall in the bottom of his squat, and that's going to help him save energy in this movement called the thruster. The higher you can keep that bar in your throat, the taller you can keep your chest, the easier it is for you to lock out overhead with less effort from the legs.
Well, Adler's already through 20 of his 30 reps. Ricky Garrard right behind him, and Brent Fikowski hanging in 3rd, trying to hold off Dallin Pepper. Brent Fikowski at the left side of your screen in the gray shorts and no shirt, retiring from individual competition after this event. He's got 185 points, 8th place overall.
Brent being called the professor is someone to certainly keep our eyes on, even with a movement like the log. Sometimes he brings new techniques that we haven't seen before, new pacing strategies, but high-level self-awareness from this athlete throughout his entire career has allowed him to excel in many different events and competitions.
He made his CrossFit Games debut back in 2016 after a couple years of extremely close, heartbreaking calls, as Jeff Adler's heading back to the rig, and he'll start his 30-bar muscle-ups.
Let's see how Jeff chooses to attack these. If he's linking them together like we saw from BKG, he does. He starts with a couple linked together here.
That's a bunch of Canadians leading the way here. Adler, Fikowski, Cornway, and Vellner all towards the front. Ricky Garrard is in the mix on the left side of your screen. Garrard is trying to hold off a whole bunch of people. He's in 2nd place with 225 points. But he's only up on 8th place Brent Fikowski by 40.
Adler still chipping away with some doubles. Ricky doing the same thing, stringing together a couple sets of 3 there.
Ricky is taking the lead at the 80 rep mark is when they'll head back to the barbell.
Ricky has a really nice understanding for the swing under the log. Watch how nothing particularly happens extremely fast for him. The faster that it happens on the way up, the more your fingers slip off the top of the log. He does a good job at just being really smooth from under all the way on top, not being too fast in the middle. It's going to ensure that his grip doesn't get overly fatigued.
Jay Crouch has the time to beat, and if you're wondering, he got done with his bar muscle ups at 9 minutes 45 seconds. Garrard is now halfway through his set of 30. Guimaero's starting to move up as well. He's down in lane number 9, right side of your screen on his haunches, chalking up his hands.
Yeah, I love this movement so much because it's so unknown to so many of these competitors, Sean. We've mentioned it, but it's like you got to go to the woods somewhere to find a log that you can try bar muscle ups on with this diameter. Now you could, unless you got some kind of, someone to make a unique design for you. Most of these guys have not practiced on anything like this unless they were here last year.
Pat Vellner on the right taking a break. He's your defending champion, 6th place overall, only 30 back of Dallin Pepper for 3rd place.
In the driver's seat. Adler's just a few reps behind.
Only 3 men have won the Rogue Invitational Championship. Matt Fraser's one of them, and the other 2 are here competing. We've already seen Justin Medeiros go, and Pat Vellner's your 2-time champ along with Medeiros. There's Chandler Smith.
The anticipation now.
He's still looking smooth over there. Lincoln reps together too. He's going to hold on for a third here in this set.
Well, Jorge Fernandez is towards the back of the pack right now. Fernandez is on the left side of your, oh no, pardon me, he's on the other end of the floor. You're going to look at Sam Cornway and Brent Fikowski, but Fernandez is down there in lane number 10 on the far right side. 9th place overall, and he's a guy that got in on the online qualifier.
That's right. And that's always something notable. I mean, you finished day 1 again, and with the very large scope of fitness that was tested yesterday, and you're top 10 at the Rogue Invitational. That's a great day 1 for someone who came in through the queue.
Ricky Garrard's going to be the first man back to the barbell, and he's got about a 20-second lead on Jay Crouch at this point in the event. Crouch scores the time to beat at 15:34.71 seconds.
Ricky Garrard, though, already moving those thrusters with 1 more rep for Adler.
Ricky opening with 6 reps there. You wonder if he's got the approach to do 5 sets of 6 to get to his 30. If he's open to switching that up as he feels the heat from Adler joining him here.
Yeah, got right back to work once he saw that Adler was creeping up on him. And Ricky went with a set of 6 and dropped it. And now he's through his first set of 10.
Well, you know what's on Jeff's mind, Sean. It was that he led that run the entire time in yesterday morning, and that Ricky snatched it from him.
You heard the crowd start to cheer, and that's because on the left side of your screen, Pat Vellner has worked his way into 3rd in this heat. And here comes Brent Fikowski along with Dallin Pepper. Guy Maiero's top of your screen getting belted up. And Jason Hopper and Jorge Fernandez still back on the bar muscle-ups. And as you heard Kiki say earlier, Hopper expected to struggle at this point of the event.
This is where we know Mr. Vellner can shine too. We talk about grit, high work capacity. He's able to find his way off that log, and now he can really put his fitness on showcase here.
Well, Vellner's got 20 reps remaining. He's through his first set of 10. At the 110 rep mark is when they'll head back to the rower. Ricky Garrard's still leading though, with 10 reps left. Adler's got 14 left. Dallin Pepper just bit off a significant chunk.
Nice. We talked about the difficulty in these thrusters. Ricky doing a great job again, staying really tall on the bottom. It helps him breathe. There's so much discomfort associated with this movement because it bears down on your soul. Literally, you're trying to breathe and you hold it in that front rack position. After already 11 intense minutes of work, it is not something these guys look forward to coming off those log muscle-ups.
Yeah, Ricky's doing a nice job of just watching what Adler's doing and not letting him get too close. But Adler's closed the gap, but Ricky's going to widen that again if he can finish this set, and he does. So Ricky's going to be the first man back to the rower.
Which will be big. It's almost harder to close the gap on someone on a rower than it is on a run on flat ground. You can't run them down. It's not the same. And Ricky's going to have a significant lead here and some great momentum.
And he's still ahead of Jay Crouch's pace.
And we got Dallin Pepper now right on the heels of Jeff Adler.
Well, Adler's going to get to the road. Now here comes, as you mentioned, Adrian, Dallin Pepper.
15-second head start over Adler, so if he can maintain his current pace, he will.
Pepper trying to take a look at Adler's screen. The 3 of these guys are right in the middle of the floor. And now Brent Fikowski gets to the rower. Pat Vellner's done. There's Guy Maiero's upper left-hand part of your screen to start his final 1,000-meter row.
Let's go, Guy.
Jorge Fernandez is working through his thrusters. 15:34.71 seconds is the time to beat. 1 rep for every 50 meters. The number they're trying to hit on the scoreboard on the left side of your screen is 130.
Well, Mr. Bridges, You had a wish, and that wish was, I want to see an absolute slugfest down the stretch on this 1K row, and we're getting every bit of that as these guys are going to be scrapping for every rep through these 1,000 meters.
Adler already pulling at a faster pace than he did on that initial 1,000 meter row. He's about a 1 minute 44 pace. But Ricky Garrard is maintaining his lead. He's got about a 100 meter lead on Adler. Dallin Pepper currently sits in third, and Fikowski, bottom of your screen, the light gray shorts, black knee sleeves, in fourth.
Yeah, this is one of those moments, again, you don't necessarily know what others are rowing, and that makes it that much more difficult. You've got to be able, you got to be willing to ride your personal threshold. So what that means is that if you're trying to hit that rower and you get comfortable with the pace, but you know you can speed up, you have to choose to, if you want to look back and say, I wish I would have done a little more. You don't want to be able to say that. You want to say that you left it on the floor.
Jeff Adler has a comfortable 50-point lead over Ricky Garrard right now in the overall standings. But what's important for Garrard is that he has a whole host of men breathing down his neck. He can give himself a little bit of space between them and himself if he can hang on for the event win here. So less than 2 minutes to go. Dallin Pepper, meanwhile, is keeping the pressure on Jeff Adler.
Yeah, these guys, it's going to come down to the stretch here. Hand up for Ricky Garrard.
Ricky Garrard inside 250 meters.
He is on pace to finish this first. Can he do it in under 15:34? Judges handing.
Oh, hand up for Pepper, and immediately after, hand up for Adler.
Ricky Garrard putting the finishing touches here on this 1,000 meter row, looking to lock up his second event win of the 2024 Rogue Invitational. We got a great battle behind him between Jeff Adler and Dallin Pepper. Pepper, you can see him continuing to look at Adler's monitor. I don't know if Adler's been peeking over at Pepper's.
I don't know either. I wonder how loose their foot straps are, though. How fast they're going to get out of that row and sprint to the finish is the question. Did they think ahead?
And now Ricky Garrard is done, and he's got to get himself across the finish line. And Ricky Garrard, second event win at the 2024 Rogue Invitational. Now the battle for second, and it's going to be Dallin Pepper out first. Pepper, look out, here comes Adler. And Dallin Pepper barely hangs on. 0.3 of a second. Adler almost reeled him in. That was a great race.
Wow.
And now Brent Fikowski's going to finish.
Wow, Brent coming out of nowhere on that final stretch. I love it.
All right, y'all. So, you know, like I said, I wasn't gonna talk as much in this one. I'm just tired, y'all. But it was a good one. It was enjoyable. It was exciting to see. Shout out to all those that placed top 5. Gerard, Pepper, Adler, Katowski, Velmer. Shout out to all of them. But anyways, this is it for me tonight. We're gonna finish the last event in the morning. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. All that good stuff. And I'll catch you later.